Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be doing tier list review now that Firefly has released for a few days. And before we get into today's video, let me know one game you guys would recommend for others to try. My recommendation for today has to be Octopath Traveler and then also Paper Mario. Lastly, if you guys do enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe to win your next 50/50 and then also hit the like button to support the video. Now, let's get straight into it. So here we have the updated tier list for the release of Firefly, and if we just look real quick, there have been some changes, and I thought we'd honestly just get straight into it for today's video. Just go over, of course, the addition of Firefly and then the changes on the tier list just to see what has changed since last time. So if we were to start with Firefly, she is in tier 0, and I personally agree with her placement being here because of the fact that her skill kit is very good when it comes to just the break meta in general. One key thing that Firefly has that really assists with her performance is definitely the fire implantation that she's able to do with her technique, and then also her enhanced skill when she is in her ultimate. This will be able to ensure that you are actually able to weather down those toughness meters. Her true damage honestly comes from the fact that she is able to do her own super break, and then if you have Harmony MC on the team, you have another form now of super break, and just the break damage in general is where a lot of her damage output will be coming from rather than just, you know, the skill damage itself or the basic attacks. Her being able to implant the fire weakness is pretty crucial in my opinion for her performance when it comes to just being able to reduce the toughness meters as fast as possible. So this is a great thing that she's able to do consistently. It doesn't have any effect hit rate involved, so this is really nice. And then she'll also get increased weakness breaking efficiency from her ultimate, and then the 60 speed from your ultimate as well. The increased weakness breaking efficiency is definitely what's going to be the cherry on top, with just being able to weather down those toughness meters super quick, and that'll be how she also gets those enhanced skills that are able to implant the fire weakness after the technique runs up. And her being able to have that 60 speed as well will allow Firefly to get really fast, and because of how fast she is, she's going to be attacking multiple times in a cycle, which means that you're definitely going to be able to deal with those toughness meters very quickly, especially on elites, for example, the boss enemies. It shouldn't take you too long to break those toughness meters. And then of course, once again, when they're broken, then you have that super break combination with Harmony MC. This is even more powerful now. And then we will speak a little bit more about Harmony MC in a little bit because I do see that their placement changed as well. But when it comes to just her kit in general, I do think her kit is pretty good just for being able to ensure that she's able to successfully break enemies very quickly. Then also having multiple actions will allow her to now have the ability to basically do multiple instances of super break. And then when enemies are weakness broken, if you do have Harmony MC on the team, and also if you have Ruan Mei, Harmony MC is able to delay enemies when they are weakness broken. And then Ruan Mei's ultimate can also allow an additional delay as well. When her ultimate's active and then you have that flower on top of the enemy's head, this will allow you to delay them from actually being able to recover their toughness meter, which now means that Firefly is able to deal more instances of super break. Technically also Harmony MC, they can actually deal some good super breaks as well. So as a result, the team has a really good synergy just for being able to get as many instances of super break as possible. And honestly, by the time the enemy would regenerate their toughness meter, I feel like Firefly would have already killed them, especially if you do have Harmony MC and Ruan Mei on the team, because Firefly literally becomes the Terminator once enemies are weakness broken. I'm not kidding, by the way. You guys could check out any of my previous Firefly showcases, and she just destroys whatever is in her path. It also mentions, if we were to just look at the tier list right here, it mentions she has advanced, break, and that she's also SP unfriendly. So when it comes to the advanced, we already mentioned the speed, but then she also will be able to advance herself forward by 100% when she goes into her ultimate. And what's really nice about Firefly in particular is that she has a very high ultimate uptime due to the fact that when she starts battles, she's going to immediately have 50% of her energy. And then when you use one skill, you'll be able to immediately go into your ultimate, and then she'll advance herself by 100%. And of course, now you have all that speed, additional weakness breaking efficiency, and just you're going to be able to deal a bunch of damage with her. Her advance as well as her break are definitely pros for sure. But the only problem I would say that Firefly does have is the fact that she's pretty heavy on the skill points because of how fast she is, and just using her skill to even get into her ultimate as well. You're going to be consuming a lot of skill points with her on the team, and if you don't have characters that can help with skill point regeneration, this can make it really rough to use her at times. Now thankfully, if you do use, let's say, her premium team, for example, Ruan Mei, Gallagher, and then Harmony MC, they're pretty good with the skill points, especially Gallagher. If we take a look at him real quick, he is pretty SP SP friendly. Even it's mentioned on the tier list here that he's SP friendly. So he's a really good sustain to pair alongside her because of the fact that you are able to get more skill points for her to be able to spam her skill as much as possible, which means breaking enemies faster. And then of course, more super break, which is definitely what you want. So that flaw, while it is still a flaw, it's pretty manageable as long as you are pretty efficient with your skill points. So I wouldn't consider it a major flaw on her end. It's just something you need to keep in mind when you are playing her. And then when it comes to Firefly's trace overload, I think this trace is really handy since she's going to be able to convert her attack into break effects. Once you are over 1800 attack, then you are able now to do attack into break effect conversion, which as we know, break effect is one of her most important stats. You do want to get to that 360% threshold since you are able to take maximum advantage of her trace that allows her to now have those super breaks in her skill kit. And this conversion is really good because it makes On the Fall of an Aeon, which is a free-to-play Lycone, essentially one of her best options. If I'm not mistaken, it's literally her second best option you can use on her, since it'll be able to give you a bunch of attack in battle. Its base attack is also really high, and then if you do pair her up with Harmony MC, for example, Harmony MC is going to be able to give break effect to the team. And then if you do have Ruan Mei, this is even more break effect. But not to worry, hypothetically, if you don't have Ruan Mei, you could honestly use a character like Pela, you could use Asta. Both of them are more free-to-play centric characters that are pretty decent alternatives. There will be a noticeable damage difference, I will say that, but Firefly will still be able to deal a good amount of damage regardless, just because of how powerful those super breaks honestly are. Pela is really handy in my opinion, which I just recently actually did a video showcasing Pela and Firefly. Pela is really nice because her defense reduction is just a very handy thing to have, as it benefits a lot of DPS's damage output, but in the situation of breaks, this will also improve your break damage. So Pela is definitely an awesome option to consider if you guys do not have Ruan Mei. But like always, I always mention definitely to prioritize Ruan Mei just because of how good of a character she is with just all her buffs. So overall, when it comes to Firefly, I do think she's very free to play centric in my opinion. Based on just building her, you can have her on E0 with Aeon. Once again, her main issue is the skill points, which honestly, she does eat those skill points like Pac-Man, which if there was a Firefly themed Pac-Man, that would honestly be really cute. But once again, with those skill points, you're just gonna have to be able to manage them. So being skill points efficient with just how you play your team comps. And thankfully, if you do decide to use Pela, Pela is pretty good with skill points. You can use your basic attack a lot with her, so that's really handy. I do think just because of how Firefly's kit is set up, just on a base level at only E0, I do think she's worthy of this tier 0 just because of how good she is at breaking enemies very quickly, having a high ultimate uptime, the fire implantation, and just her synergy overall with Harmony MC is also really strong. So I think Firefly has been awesome. I definitely think she's very powerful, and I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you guys think she should be up here? Do you guys think she should actually be lower? And then if we were to take a look at the other characters, Ruan Mei did get bumped up, so did Harmony MC and Gallagher. Honestly, for all three of these characters, I'm not surprised. With the addition of Firefly, the break meta is definitely becoming even more prevalent now. Ruan Mei is one of the best characters to have on the break meta. Harmony MC is also really good. And then of course, Gallagher being skill point friendly, him being able to debuff enemies, him being able to help with break in general. Plus Gallagher has a good amount of super break damage himself because of the fact that his break effect can help with his outgoing healing. So he is already a more break centric healer. So he fits really good on the team comp overall. Harmony MC is completely free, and Harmony MC is honestly such a great supportive character. If you really want your characters that do have break effect invested into them to really shine with those super breaks, you can use Harmony MC and Ruan Mei, for example, as a really good synergy. You can use them with characters like Xuan, for example. I've seen Luca comps. You could also even consider Boothill as well. I know some people may say, oh, you can use Barnet instead, but honestly, Harmony MC is still a good option overall, even for Boothill. And then of course with Firefly, these two are literally made to be together. They are a very good synergy. Firefly will be able to deal a bunch of damage with Harmony MC on the team, so I highly recommend to put them together if you do end up pulling Firefly, because Harmony MC is completely free. You can get all the Eidolons for free as well, and I do think in the future this character will potentially improve even more, just depending on how many more break-centric characters we have. Then with Ruan Mei, she is now in tier 0. She's above Robin, above Sparkle, and then of course above Trailblazer. So in my opinion, I do think that Ruan Mei could honestly be in tier 0, because if we do consider all the buffs she has, how many synergies she could just have on team comps in general, she works on practically majority of teams. She works on damage over time, she works on dual DPS, she works on hyper carry, she of course works on break comps. This is where she's going to shine a bunch since she is one of the best supports you can use. And she's able to just increase the damage of the team. She could speed up allies, which means this can allow you to have more potential super break instances when paired with Harmony MC. And it makes it easier to also reach certain speed thresholds, especially for Firefly, for example. Here's just like a little pop-up. For Firefly, there are certain speed thresholds you do want to get to, but with Ruan Mei, you can have roughly 10 less speed than what the threshold would be, which makes it way easier for your Firefly to have enough speed. That would be really good for her to go multiple times in cycles. And then she's also able to, of course, delay enemies with her ultimate. They won't be able to recover those toughness meters as quickly, which means now more instances of super break can be done. You have that old type res pen from the ultimate, more weakness breaking efficiency, and this will actually boost super break damage. Since the super break from Harmony MC's ultimate is stronger, the more toughness reduction is dealt to an enemy, which since Ruan Mei can give you additional weakness breaking efficiency, this means that there's going to be more toughness reduction dealt to an enemy, which now results in more super break damage. I do believe the boost to tier 0 is completely worth it, and she has shown her value time and time again since 1.6. She came out and she was arguably the best support, and now she is, of course, having her shine once again even further with these break teams. So I think this place is completely fine for Ruan Mei, and I definitely do recommend picking her up if you haven't already. She's an amazing support to have on your team and just will provide a lot of benefits to accounts in general. Now we have Gallagher. Gallagher did get bumped up and Xuan actually got bumped down, which is pretty interesting. When it comes to Gallagher, I 100% think he can honestly be in this 0.5, especially now with the release of Firefly. He is just really good on that team comp. Being able to be skill point friendly is really nice for those skill point heavy teams. The fact that he can advance himself after using his ultimate is really handy, because what's even nicer in the case of him and Firefly, because of the fact that Firefly can implant fire weakness, this now means that Gallagher can also help with withering down toughness meters, and the fact that he can advance himself forward after using his ultimate means that he's able to hit multiple times in a row, because what you could do is a basic attack and then ultimate and then basic attack once again, and this will allow you to just deal with enemies with ease when it comes to just reducing the toughness meter. So Gallagher in general, especially on those break comps, he's really useful, and honestly for a 4-star sustain, his healing is also pretty good in my opinion, so he's definitely worthwhile to consider. And then Xuan getting bumped down, so I feel like she could have stayed in tier 0, but I will say when it comes to Aventurine in general, I feel like Aventurine's perks are very good. You are going to have really beefy shields, you're going to have a bunch of effect resistance, he is skill point friendly, he has those follow-up attacks, which if you build him a bit more offensively, he can deal pretty nice damage, and those follow-up attacks of course synergize really good with characters like Topaz, Dr. Ratio, Robin. You can also use him on other follow-up centric teams since he just is a follow-up centric sustain. So I think Aventurine can completely be up here, but I'm kind of wondering, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Xuan should still be alongside him, or do you guys think that Aventurine is better than Xuan now when it comes to sustainability in general? I'm not too sure what I would personally think. I do think though Aventurine in my opinion has perks that I would personally value a bit more in a character. I do think Xuan's damage mitigation and just her sustainability is pretty nice, but I would just love to know what you guys think. Do you guys think she should have just stayed in tier 0 or get bumped down? And then for the rest of the list, let's see if anyone else moved. Okay, Himeko went up. Honestly, I think this is definitely warranted. Himeko is really good in the current MOC. She's absolutely crushing it on fire weak enemies, and you can also use her with a super break kind of comp. You can use her with Harmony MC, Ruan Mei, whatever it may be. Himeko in general, I do think is a pretty underrated character at times. She's of course amazing in pure fiction, but when it comes to potentially even dual DPS comps, you can use her, for example, with Topaz. And in general, I do feel like Himeko has a potential to be a really good character overall. I think though this tiering is fine. I have been wondering if Himeko was going to get bumped up from the tier 4, which she finally has, and I do think this MOC makes her shine quite a bit. Would love to know what you guys think about Himeko. And then for the rest of the list, I feel like everything is an okay placement for the most part. I'm not too sure honestly what I would switch around too much. I feel like people could probably argue for Boothill potentially being in tier 0. I'd love to know what you guys think, and some people might be wondering Firefly or Boothill, my opinion on that. My response would probably be, why not both? They're both really good characters. They both deal a crap ton of damage. I personally think they both have really good value. I do think personally that Firefly is a little easier to use though, because like she just kind of goes into her ultimate and then she just becomes the Terminator, as I've said. But I feel like with Boothill, he has a really interesting playstyle just with his metals. The amount of damage he can do when an enemy gets broken and he just blasts them in the face, it's quite a lot. So I feel like though the tier is 0.5, because these two tiers aren't drastically different from one another, to be fair, they're still considered an apex character. They're the cream of the crop, some of the best characters in the game. I do feel like Boothill could honestly either be in 0.5 or maybe even 0. It just kind of depends. I would love to see, I guess, maybe even next patch or even maybe 2 patches later, how we're feeling about Boothill, how we're even feeling about Firefly as well. I would love to see her performance as well in like a different MOC, since the current MOC is pretty favorable for our break-centric characters, especially those that are of the fire element. So I would love to see in the next MOC, how does Firefly do there? I might also just showcase that just to get a rough idea. But for the rest of the tier list, I do feel like these placements are fine. I'd love to know, would you guys move any characters around? I do feel like the Harmony MC moving up 100% valid. For Ruan Mei, valid as well. Gallagher and Firefly's placements I think are really good too. So I noticed majority of the characters that did move are primarily those break-centric characters. And the only thing, I guess, maybe bumping up Asta. I don't know. I still feel like A for Asta is definitely a thing. I'll always say that. I feel like Asta is a great just free-to-play option when it comes to the attack, the speed, if you have her dance, but I can understand why she is considered potentially also a more niche character. Xuan, I can potentially see her going up maybe in the future. I do think she's really good with Harmony MC and Trailblazer, but you can also use her with characters like Tingyun and just hyper carry centric characters too. So I feel like Xuan has a lot of potential, but when it comes to, of course, the placements, I already said I do think they're in really good spots. Would love to know what you guys think about the changes. And do you guys feel like the break meta is really prevalent, really strong? Or do you feel like there are things that can be improved? I personally think it's really good right now. I can potentially see it getting better even in the future though, the more break-centric characters we have. But yeah, that'll be all from me though. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like, support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.